Have you noticed that it is more controversial to criticize Oprah than to burn the American flag?
Really?
Seems that way. I've never heard anybody criticize Oprah. Do you think it's political or do you think it's deeper than that? I mean, you're not like a right winger.
No.
No. You don't even seem that political.
No, I'm not really. I'm pretty much, just want to do right by the people,
What if I told you that Tucker Carlson and Greg Gutfeld had verbally thrashed Oprah? Yes. The Oprah-in, a takedown so brutal it made daytime television seem like a high school drama club, while Gutfeld flings sarcasm like confetti at a corporate conference. Tucker is dismantling her kingdom as if it were made of motivational post-it notes. In one moment, she is beaming self-love under studio lights. What might they have said to make Oprah look like she's in the middle of an awards show? Freeze frame. This is a roast with a receipt-stamped mic drop, not a talk show jot down.
After the Oscars, a 3.9 magnitude earthquake rocked LA. The tremors were so powerful, Oprah's ass is still moving. Why would you laugh at that? That's that.
Oprah used to give out automobiles, but these days she gives away credibility slips. And believe me, she has plenty. Do you recall her as the goddess of feel-good consumerism? The oracle of couch confessions? And the unchallenged king of daytime television? In the present day, she has transformed into a walking TED Talk, supported by billionaire guilt and kale smoothies. Enter Greg Gutfeld and Tucker Carlson, who are using their jackhammers to chisel away at Oprah's legacy's marble pedestal. Quiet. No, nice. Not at all.
Oprah Winfrey, she's worth $3 billion. She's up there talking about all the racism she encountered.
But okay, so Oprah Winfrey is American, but Kamala Harris, Jamaicans are not Americans, A. B, not oppressed, and he said they're actually very successful in the United States. Caribbeans in general, I think, make more than native-born whites. They're successful, they're entrepreneurial. They're not part of the history of racism and slavery in the United States, just the opposite. They just showed up here. So this is...
Let's start with Tucker, who, let's face it, gets really upset about anything that seems like fluff, fake earnestness, or a book club supporting The Secret as a money-making tactic. It's methodical, intense, and strangely satisfying to watch him dissect Oprah's persona like a demolition expert with a wrecking ball.
Oprah on abortion.
If you do not have autonomy over this, if you cannot control when and how you choose to bring your children into this world and how they are raised and supported, there is no American dream.
There's no American dream without abortion. That to me sounds like a woman that's had an abortion. I don't know, but that's what it sounds like to me.
Well, it's such a grotesque and crazy thing to say that clearly it's coming from someone.
Tucker didn't mince words. Focusing on Oprah's most recent deed, the moral authority queen sitting atop a fortune so enormous that even Elon Musk may feel dizzy just looking at it. She started her business by convincing regular people that fragrant candles and vision boards might change their lives. But now she uses her expansive avocado orchard to lecture them about privilege. The irony. A planet could be tilted by its weight.
An icon who, unlike traditional politicians, could match a wild card like Donald Trump. And if she won, she could give everyone a free car. And how different is that really from most Democrats?
Like that cynical relative who turns Thanksgiving meal into a satirical slam, Gutfeld, meanwhile, came in full force. He criticized Oprah's public character with a keen sense of comedy and a sharp tongue, treating it as a rerun of a reality program in which billionaires act as though they are oppressed. Do the golden forks in her Montecito mansion rattle every time she speaks truth to power? He said bluntly.
5 words. Oprah's list of favorite things. So Oprah released her annual list of favorite things, and as usual, there are lots of expensive stuff. $1,000 pizza oven, $590 drip coffee maker, $80 of luxury salt. Sadly, no proposal from...
Let's be clear. Oprah's act of pretending not to be wealthy is the issue, not her actual wealth. Flying to exclusive retreats to teach minimalist living, then purchasing an estate on Maui before lecturing America about inequality. The mental acrobatics are astounding. Without missing a beat, Tucker brought up the Maui Relief Fund scandal, in which Oprah, with her $2.8 billion fortune, invited impoverished Americans to contribute. The GoFundMe campaign brought to you by people who could just buy Hawaii, Greg called it. It's like to Batman requesting that Gotham send him a Venmo for petrol for his Batmobile. Not to mention Oprah's favorite dramatic act, sobbing on television about the difficulties of being famous, wealthy, and often ridiculed. She claims that asking difficult questions is psychological warfare. Losing it, Gutfeld likened her acting to an Oscar candidate who was turned down for a sequel that no one requested. Oprah to richer, louder, and sadder, her endorsements in politics. It was more of a royal decree issued from an infinity pool, accompanied with speeches and calming piano music, then a nod.
Oprah show.
Yeah, so I don't know what that's.
But Oprah's obviously a saintly, godlike figure who's revered by all decent people. Why would she exclude you?
I really don't know. You know, that's something that I would love to find out. But I can't tell you, you know, if there's a single thing that I've done or said to her.
By comparing Oprah's political maneuvers to a wrecking ball, Tucker mocked her for posing as America's moral compass while residing on a luxury complex big enough to house a small country. He joked that if her political views came with free private jets, perhaps people would accept them. Her spiritual journey branding was ridiculed by Gutfeld, who described it as a bougie midlife crisis wrapped in a dream catcher. It is the height of delusion for someone who is surrounded by monarchy, celebrities, and business magnates to believe they are a healer. He made a joke that Oprah wouldn't notice the irony if she held a meditation retreat and a $500 face cream launch on the same afternoon. Her Wisdom Hour with Oprah Winfrey, a master lesson in nebulous cliches such as live your truth and manifest abundance, presented beneath repurposed unicorn bone chandeliers. According to Tucker, this approach is very effective if your truth involves personal hype teams and offshore accounts.
Music attacks women. I know the feeling. When I had a son, I stopped watching Oprah because it was just too anti-male, and I felt like I didn't want to bring him up in a home where Oprah was constantly attacking men, and it's really helped. Sure. And it was only in the past 5 years when all this evidence would emerge, and I'd be like, well, that's not true. It doesn't seem true to me. Like, I don't know what the truth is, but I can tell when someone's lying. It's my one gift. And I would see these people lying, and I'd be like, why are they lying? I know they're lying, but why? And so I really came to this, like, at the age of...
Greg proposed that you get a tax write-off, would be a more truthful Oprah quote. You receive a tax deduction. Everybody receives a tax deduction, because wellness brand deals and varied portfolios go hand in hand with enlightenment. From famous interviews to hosting wellness experts who believe celery juice can heal trauma, her media empire has grown. Tucker compared it to Harvard being an infomercial throughout the day, discussing crystal energy alignment 1 minute and structural injustice the next. Gutfeld suggested OWN 2.0, which stands for Overpriced Woo-Woo Nonsense, as a new channel. Its lineup, Real Housewives of the Fifth Dimension, Detox Your Aura, and Cooking with Vibes were all shot in a yurt behind Oprah's Malibu guest house. Her fixation on royalty. No one exploited the Meghan and Harry controversy more. Greg referred to that interview as a high-budget gossip column with accents and wine breath, while Tucker termed it the world's most expensive group therapy session.
Went over this first to make sure it wasn't too extravagant.
You're missing the best one.
What?
Okay, it is a little journal and it's called I'm Dead, Now What? Important information on my belongings, business affairs, and wishes. Hand this to someone at Christmas, I dare you.
Oprah portrays herself as the world's therapist, but every session ends with her and her guest crying, leaving viewers to either cry themselves or go through Zillow for estates worth $90 million. Warning, they are unable to. During her yearly speeches at the award event, She invokes Maya Angelou, extols bravery, and drives home in a specially designed Gulfstream while holding a gratitude rock. Tucker remarked that it would be similar to preaching about minimalism while wearing a gold-plated jumpsuit on top of a mechanical peacock. We must uplift the marginalized, just not near my vineyard. The drone scared the llamas, Gutfeld said, in reference to her upcoming address. Tucker said that it's as ironic as asking a swan for tact when Oprah calls on America to do better. Greg merely asked whether renting a yacht composed of recycled empathy is part of doing better.
So you got salt, you got cheese, you got pizza.
Greg, I'm gonna stop you there.
Yes.
I treat this like the list I get from my kids. They send me emails because they know when I laugh in their face, it hurts. Anyone who wants a $1,000 pizza oven, you're gonna get what Kat picked out. Like, that's the greatest gift you can give somebody because you can't return it. Because returning it, you think you're immortal? You think you're better than us? Like, get your affairs in order. That's the great, you stole the show. They wanted me to talk about a dog towel. That towel's a towel. Great job, that's the best gift ever. And Oprah has never read this, just like I don't read the list for my kids.
Greg's prediction of Oprah's next big move, space travel, finally elevated the parody to new levels. Imagine Oprah starting the first interplanetary book group on Mars with the statement, "Today we're reading The Martian, again." Using essential oils, she would terraform Mars and give it the name Planet, after watching a 40-minute PowerPoint on fermented chia seeds. Tucker quipped that astronauts might quit in the middle of their mission. Even black holes cannot elude a billionaire. Despite the infiniteness of space, by the end, Oprah's empire resembled a wellness amusement park, with tickets costing $10,000, rather than a kingdom full of wisdom, candles, affirmations, and counsel that sounds profound but has no real meaning surround a once inspiring figure who is now caught in a maelstrom of self-importance.
At this list, and you know what wasn't on there? Anything about Maui. Right? At one point in time, she and The Rock made that video to try to help out everybody who was hurt by the fire. And then that was just quickly discarded. She's like, okay, that didn't work. Who wants slippers? You want slippers. You get a pair of slippers. You're all getting slippers.
Do you think she might have given some money and not talked about it? I do that a lot. You never hear about my charity. Because I won't tell you.
No one's ever heard of it.
No one's ever heard about it.
You would think that after advocating honesty for decades, Oprah would periodically cease doing it, but she never does. In a cashmere cocoon, Oprah is a full-time vibe merchant who sells emotions like high-end purses. She is not merely performing a role, she embodies the role. Gutfeld and Carlson didn't have to embellish. The ridiculousness speaks for itself. They only illuminated the velvet draped circus tent, allowing the spectators to marvel at the bizarre scene within. Oprah's belief that she is untouchable and ethereal oracle, impervious to criticism or plain senses the problem. Not that she is a bad person. Still, the crowd cries, claps, and keeps journals. They purchase the mug, sign up for the course, and tweet the quote when Oprah exhorts them to live your truth while sipping herbal tea filtered by moonlight. The Empress is wearing a $3,000 caftan and telling stories about her struggles from a massage chair that costs more than your car. Tucker and Greg just pulled aside the curtain and asked the one question no one dares ask.
The Harris interview did feel like a very special episode of Oprah, but instead of everybody getting a new car, everybody got an aneurysm.
The quiet was overwhelming. The voice of the people is best expressed by someone whose dog has a private plane, with more legroom than a commercial pilot and an in-house dietitian. With standing ovations, curtain calls, and ticket prices only, hedge fund managers can afford. Oprah's brand of modesty has grown into a full-fledged Broadway drama. Designer scarves and sporadic sobbing punctuate her lengthy discourse of self-congratulation, like a philosophical crop duster. Greg Gutfeld compared her to a motivating overlord who hovers above the regular citizen and scatters pearls of wisdom. However, glossy booklets promoting the benefits of journaling under Himalayan salt lamps are used in place of seeds. Tucker, meantime, dispelled any idea that Oprah still exemplifies honesty by implying that the only genuine object in her world would be her Labradoodle's diamond-encrusted leash. Her remarkable ability to show up on all platforms within hours of a national tragedy serves as a reminder that she is still relevant, emotionally invested, and behind her rose gold security gates not to console. Oprah's opinions, whether on climate change, rural drama, or the most recent crises, are cloaked in nebulous spiritualism and allegories of journeys. Nothing soothes more than a talk about interconnection given from a balcony overlooking the beach in hushed tones. She is still untouchable, though. Journalists swoon, critics tiptoe, and everyone else nods, mesmerized by her combination of controlled vulnerability and soft-spoken authority. Greg and Tucker, however, didn't buy it. The image of a millionaire sage who hasn't visited a Walmart while Blockbuster was still in business was revealed when they tore down the sparkling curtain.